We made it. 2017 is coming to a close. Now, 'tis the season for existentialism. So of course, this is the time myself, and I'm sure most of the world is getting extremely reflective and thoughtful about 2017. And for me personally, I intentionally went into 2017 with zero expectations. And in many ways, that was my resolution. And looking back, that is the best choice I could have possibly made. At the start of this year, I was at a complete crossroads. I was working and currently still work at the newspaper here in Rochester, City Newspaper, where I sort of wrote for them time to time. I sort of shot video for them time to time, and I was also handling their social media. And much of that hasn't changed. And on top of that, most of you may not know, but I'm also a musician. And at the beginning of the year, I didn't really quite know what I wanted to pursue. I felt like I was at a crossroads between pursuing writing, pursuing music, and then of course kind of trying to take a deeper dive into video and doing more video stuff and trying to get some freelance videographer gigs, something of that nature. And as I was going through this transition, I wrote an EP during this time, which ended up being called I Don't Know What I'm Doing, but by having done it, I suddenly become credible. And that really kind of became my mantra for this entire year. Looking back, that EP was kind of, a reaction to what I was feeling at this time. It was a completely improv piano EP, something I've never done before that I've always wanted to. And a lot of the reason why I chose to do it is because I'm not very confident in myself as a piano player, and I feel like when you improvise, or when I improvise, that's pretty much when you can see my biggest weaknesses as a musician. And this was my way of kicking that fear in the teeth and just going full force and just doing it because I wanted to. And I named it I Don't Know What I'm Doing, but by having done it, I suddenly become credible, because that was also a way of me kind of facing this fear that I may not entirely know or be educated in the things that I attempt, but by having attempted to do said thing, you then have at least some ounce of credibility in it, even if it is complete garbage, whatever. I did it. And then I met Rob Moston, a man who's been on my channel many times before, a man who's recently released a video game, A Small Robot Story, which I just did a Let's Play on. A man who is deep in the community of indie game development here in Rochester, and also works at the Rochester Institute of Technology, one of the biggest schools for game development on the East Coast. After meeting Rob and him kind of learning about my position at City Newspaper and all my video game jibber jabber, he offered me the opportunity to be a judge on the New York State Game Dev Challenge, where indie game developers and students alike can submit their games, and myself, among many others who are actually in the industry, got to judge and critique these games. But that whole experience sort of kind of set the path in these crossroads that I was having trouble following. Because of this opportunity with judging video games, it kind of laid the foundation down for what it seemed right to be pursuing, and that was video game stuff in some way, shape, or form. May that be my journalism, may that be just writing about it, I don't know, but I saw an opportunity, I decided to go for it. So from there, I restarted my blog, Video Games, Comics, and Coffee. And then the next step was thinking about starting a YouTube channel. When looking back and reflecting on the crossroads of music and writing and video, it really allowed me to kind of hone in and really find out at my core what I'm about and what my greatest strengths are. If there's one thing that's going to be repeating itself into 2018, that is the idea of it's not so much about trying to become the person you want to be, but rather becoming the person you already are. And that isn't to say someone can't improve on certain qualities and make them a better person, but I think at this point, and looking at everything I've been doing and examining my strengths, all of these qualities just kind of pointed into one singular direction, and that was starting this YouTube channel. Between my love and passion for editing, my love for video, my love for video games, having enough charisma to at least hold someone's attention for a moment, it just made sense. I didn't really have a game plan. I just seemed like I should be doing it, so there I am. I started doing it. To the opposite of that, as most people I've collaborated with in the past, most people I know, most people I work with, my friends, really first and foremost know me as kind of a musician and an artist and a filmmaker, but I don't think the majority of people really know me for my passion for video games and the medium as a whole. So definitely starting this channel, I had this tremendous amount of fear that people that may have thought they knew me really well would then realize that they really didn't know me at all, and that they would slowly just kind of be like, well, I don't really know what to talk to Kurt about, or I don't really relate to Kurt. And in many ways, that is true, and that did happen. But at the same time, it kind of put things in perspective of what matters and what doesn't. And this matters to me. And in the short time that I've done this, it has been so validating and so fun and expressive for me, and is fueling creative parts and needs of mine, to just that it is filling a gap in my creative space that's allowing me to consistently work and consistently put shit out and not fear of whether or not it's going to be perfect. It's invigorating. I love doing this. Right now I have 348 subscribers, which is outrageous to me. I sincerely did not expect that in the 6 to 7 months I've been doing this. I really try not to think or care about numbers or subscribers or views, but it's a double-edged sword, right? I make shit for people to see. And though I don't want to obsess over those who are seeing it, seeing that number slowly grow is proving that what I'm doing has been worthwhile in some way. So holy shnikes, thank you so much to those who are investing their time and attention in me. It's outstanding. Here's to 2018 with zero expectations. I'm just gonna keep going, just gonna keep doing my thing. Whatever happens, happens. And to all of you, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful new year. I hope you are able to reflect on 2017 and take something from it, and then lay the path down for the future. Till next time, folks, I love you. Goodbye.